I wanted to discuss one of the biggest lies my father, the hitman or economic hitman, has ever told me in my life of all my travels. He said we were taking a vacation in Japan when I was around 8 years old or 7 years old. I never saw him meet with anyone, but don't let that fool you. He met with two people that were of prime importance, the Emperor and Empress of Japan, while we were there. Don't get me wrong, he was quite the enthusiast and tourist, taking pictures of everybody and everyone that he could, including taking me to the Irie Pagoda and every Shinto shrine imaginable. We must have hit them all. But I don't know anyone that's gotten so close up to the parish that they walked right up to the moat where the cars drive in than my father. He took me right up to the palace moat where there are alligators, crocodiles, and other dangerous things swimming around and kill you and eat you alive in, and took me in, and the car transport bridge was like right there. I don't know if you can get that close in England or any other castle. But he took me there, and then we went up in Kyoto, and that's where I asked him, where was that, Dad? Was that Japan? And he goes, no, that was Tanzania. But it was Japan because there were Japanese people. Maybe his memory's going more than mine. Maybe I was at Kilimanjaro too, but this was definitely up in Kyoto, and it was a palace because the grounds are unmistakable to me now when I recognize them online. We went all the way up. It was like a Harry Potter movie on a bus. It looked just like a pointed in the sky with clouds, and as the bus went around and around, up higher and higher up the mountain, there were more and more clouds. And when we got up there, it was a castle. And there were only two people that opened the door, and they dressed in a kimono and traditional outfit, and they obviously owned the place. And they had grounds, hundreds and thousands of acres. I don't know how many acres are on it, but they gave me a tour, and they said, of course, whenever my dad did business anywhere, no matter what war he was involved with, even East Timor, and when we went to Taiwan, the first thing that ever happened is his little girl, me, had to go swimming because I was a swimming enthusiast, and he always had an underground pool or something, and before any business or any ambassador meetings, Jill always got to go swimming. So they gave me a tour of the pools at the palace, and there were 7 levels. It was like having the land was so great and expansive and beautiful with flowers and gardens. It was gardens, 7 farm-like levels of flowers and gardens, and an Olympic-sized pool on each one. I don't know how many hotels that look like that. And there was no one there in the whole palace-like structure except those 2 people. And it's obvious to me now. I'll put a thumbnail on the front of the photograph. But that night, after we had dinner, the traditional Japanese style, sat on the floor with chopsticks. I could be mistaken, but we were always sitting on the floor with crossed legs and chopsticks and tea, and eating with our hands. In Japan, we ate with our hands. After dinner, around 7 or 8 p.m., the 2 hostess and host came into the bedroom. My dad says, we're going to take a family bath. And so we had to, I didn't know what was going on. So we were brought into this huge royal type sauna spa room, and the water was 202 degrees, they said, which is almost boiling. And if you think that you can't sit in a sauna more than 10 minutes here, well, that's not the way the Japanese do it, or Japanese royals. A royal Japanese family bath is like 20 minutes in boiling water. Anyway, my dad unrobed, and the 2 people that were with us also unrobed, her and her husband, and they just walked right in the water. You figure 202 to 205 degrees, you can walk right in. You must do it every day. And my father, he jumped right in like he was a pro. Like he was doing it every day. He didn't even flinch. And he said to my mom, come on, Judy, come on in. The water's great. She put her toe in and flinched. And he said, come on in, Judy. Gave her a look like, you better get your ass in here and look good about it. And so she, bit her tongue and slid in within a few minutes. And he's like, Jill, come on in and join us. And I was like 7 or 8 years old. I put my toe in the water, and I cried for 45 minutes while they had a business meeting in this family naked bath together. And I went under the cold showers and I sat there crying for 45 minutes, and I was still crying on the way out. I think I cried all night. And then on the way out of Japan, we passed by Mount Fiji. In fact, Japan has some of the largest, I don't know if they're poisonous, I thought they were, but when I was there, they showed us they had some of the largest spiders in the world, and they had some really bad poisonous ones.